Hi, all of us family. My name is Serene Lee. I come to you from San Francisco, California. I am a wife and a mom of 3 kids. I have a 6th grader, a 4th grader, and a 1st grader. And I also work outside of the home. So in Matthew 11, Jesus asks us to come to him who are weary and tired. And he promises a yoke that is easy and a burden that is light. And for so long, I thought my life was yoked to Jesus, and yet I was feeling weary and tired and heavy burdens. And I know I'm not the only one in feeling this way at times. And so what God really showed me was that there were some things I had to put down. There were some no's that I had to declare in my life. And so some of the no's I could easily identify. They were the things that I dreaded, I procrastinated on, I didn't want to do, but was doing out of like obligation, like guilt, or like feeling like that's just what I'm supposed to do, right? And so I had to do a lot of self-talk and a lot of reflection on like, what was that? And realizing like, when God was when I was doing these things that were like hard for me and dreaded, like those are things that maybe I wasn't supposed to do, because I would hear that somebody else was like, oh, those are the very things that I love to do. Those give me energy. Those are easy for me. And I'm like, why am I doing it? So I had to let go of some of those things and let go of these like, feelings of like, oh, you were just supposed to do those things. So when I would let go of those, oh my gosh, I felt so free, so light. They were just like these heavy things that I could just hand off and get out of my life. And that felt so good. Just felt so free. And then there were some no's that were just a lot harder to say no to, because honestly, they were not bad things. They were things that would have created relationship. They were things that I wanted to do. They were things that were, there were some good things that would come from them. And so, but what I realized was that if I said yes to those things, like I would be exhausted. I would lose sleep. It would be taking time away from the relationships that I knew were a priority in my life. And so when I said no to those things, they were harder. I still struggle with like missing out, or, it was harder, but there was a sense of like health and freedom in a different way, because I knew it was the right decision. So then I got pretty good at saying no, or better at least at saying no. And then I would get scared to say yes to things, to be honest. Like I would look at my schedule and be so protective over it, and not want to schedule too much. Make sure I had carved out alone time, carved out family time, and being a little bit like protective of that time. And so as God slowly walked me into saying yes to things, there was just so much grace in it. I would some days look at my schedule and be like, there's no way I could do all this. Or if I did it, I will just be so exhausted. I would just need so much more time to rest from this. And God would be so kind and like clear out schedules, or bring people in that would take some of these things out of my day, or just do God ways of just making it okay. And then with bigger projects, like I would take them on and be like, okay, this is just going to be a tough season. This is just going to be hard. But it's a yes, right? I was confident. And then God would show me that it was not that hard. Like it was fun. I had joy doing it. There was a lightness to it that I did not expect. Then I started to have a new lie of like, if you're not working hard, like if you're not working till you're weary and tired, then are you even doing things for the kingdom. And that's so crazy, right? Because God literally promises that if we are yoked to him, it is easy and the burden is light. In Ephesians 1 verse 7, Paul talks about that God's grace is done with this lavish love. And to be honest, that is so hard for me to receive. Who am I to deserve a lavish love? It literally does feel so lavish for God's work to be fun and free and easy. And so, you know, that is something I'm growing into, and that is my prayer for the All of Us family, that we will know and believe that we are worthy of God's lavish love. And if we just, you know, make our no's no's and yeses yeses, like be clear in them, like God is going to like love on us in a very lavish way.